Greetings, free thinkers. Welcome to the Hoggcast. How are you doing today? I hope you're doing fine. I'm certainly not. I'm sick to my stomach again, and I know I've said this before. Excuse me. I know I've said this before, but I really mean it now. I do not back the blue anymore. I don't. The way that they've treated the Canadian truckers. You see this here. This isn't. You might be thinking, "Wow, this is a sudden turn of face." Trudeau's taking a knee to the truckers who haven't committed any damage, haven't done anything wrong, have had bouncy castles out, all that stuff, yeah. This is him taking the knee to BLM, Antifa, the like. Remember the Summer of Love? Yeah, it's taken from that. So, we've got a couple of clips to watch in regards to what's happening. The clampdown has begun. You can't deny that this isn't a regime anymore. This isn't an administration. This is a regime. Now, Canada, I don't know, I'm not an expert on Canada's the process of democracy there, but I have had numerous people who know much more about it than I do, that the way it works, Trudeau didn't actually get a majority. He's the Prime Minister, but he didn't actually get a majority. I'm not sure entirely how that works. So he has checked pretty much all of the boxes of what a tyrant is. He admires other tyrants. We've heard him say that before. He admires certain governments that punish dissent. He punishes dissent. That's 2 boxes checked. He attacks his political opposition in underhand, dirty and potentially illegal ways. Box number 3. He attacks his own people. Box number 4. Right? He coordinates with the state media to spread propaganda about the truckers. Checkbox number 5. What more do you need? He refuses to talk to his own electorate. He'll talk to like his lackeys, but he won't go and talk to the people. Checkbox number 6, 7, however many we got up to. So we've got a couple of clips to watch in regards to the way that they're being treated, and there's a couple of things in this Fox News clip that I want to respond to. So we'll watch that first. If you haven't, we'll get into the video now. If you haven't yet, though, please like the video, subscribe to the Hoggcast, hit the notification bell, and share the video around. Those other things. It helps me hopefully stay competitive. I won't monetize this video because it probably wouldn't get it, but it's not about that anyway. I don't care. I wasn't even going to make a video about this. I was going to do something else, but then I saw all of the clips and I thought I've just got to do it. I do have a membership scheme which you can join now. I have 9 amazing, beautiful members who honour and humble me that they support the Hoggcast in the way that they do, and you could be member 10 if you so choose. Okay, let's go.
National Review has been on the ground in Ottawa, and he joins us now. All right, Nate, what's shaking up there?
Well, look, today, for the last 24 hours, have been probably the most consequential for this protest movement since they got here in late January. The cops on the ground number in the multiple hundreds, if not thousands. They have full riot gear. You've got armed police up in sniper positions on the top.
It's true. And you just heard Jesse say, whoa, I would have thought he would know, being attuned to this. Of course, you can't know everything, but yeah, they're up there. They're up there. Spy, like scoping out their own people. I mean, it's absurd, isn't it?
Tops of buildings. They're treating these guys like they're terrorists, which...
Yeah, they're treating them like the terrorists. And not only that... Remember when BLM and that were literally burning city blocks down, pulling statues down? Statues serve no other purpose than to celebrate a particular thing or person from your civilization. So when people target your statues, they're attacking your civilization. Yeah? He bent the knee to them.
Matches the Prime Minister's rhetoric, so it's not surprising. And they are slowly closing in, bit by bit, foot by foot, to try to clear these guys out.
Are the truckers nonviolent? Are they just sitting there? What's the deal there?
It's almost impossible to overstate just how peaceful of a protest movement this is. I mean...
Well, you see, this is what I mean. They've been trying their hardest, and this is, I suppose it's a good tactic to portray their peacefulness, and that's cool. But, and I'm not saying you shouldn't be peaceful, but it's a weird position that Conservatives are in. It's like you're supposed to, oh well, you can protest, but you can't do anything if we start hitting you on the head or trampling you or what. I'm sure you understand what I mean for Conservatives. It's like you're expected to just stand there and be trampled or whatever. Do you understand what I mean? You're expected to lose with grace. You're expected to just shut up and preferably not even protest in the first place. But the left, they can pull statues down, do all of this stuff, destroy city blocks. The horse riders are nowhere to be seen.
Jesse, I covered Portland in 2020 during Black Lives Matter, and I covered this, and it's just two different worlds. I mean, these guys are playing music, they're holding Christian worship services, they're giving out free coffee and food. The Christian groups here are serving the homeless population in Ottawa, which even the Ottawa city government doesn't do, and they're cooperating with cops. I mean, these guys are pro-cop. There's a lot of frustration with the
Right, this is the bit, this is the crux of why I'm showing you this clip from Fox News. How pro-cop are you expected to be? For example, the people down there, after all of this, after the way that they've been treated, if you were to ask, are you pro-cop, and they said no, a lot of even Conservative commentators would be like, what? How can you say that? But how pro-cop are you supposed to be? We certainly, as on the right, we know that a society needs a law and order. You can't have a society without it. But you have to understand also that the concept of law and order isn't inherently, well, law in particular, isn't inherently good. It isn't like you are a police officer, therefore your actions will always be good, no matter what. Or you are a protester, therefore your actions will always be bad, no matter what. There's grey areas. In between, there's a lot of grey. In fact, as time goes on, there's more grey areas. But as he's saying, these guys, oh, you know, pro-police. I mean, I find it an absurdity. Like, you're like, oh yeah, well, we'll shake your hand. And then tomorrow, they're bashing you on the head or running you over with a horse. And you're supposed to get up, wipe the blood off, and say, back the blue. Woo. Why?
The fact that the cops have to be doing this job because a lot of the cops on the ground don't want to be here. But
they are. Why can the truckers risk everything? Bearing in mind that the cops, the Canadian cops here, they don't have... Do you remember even what this is about? They don't have the mandate. They're not mandated the way that the truckers are. Yet they're here bashing the truckers, trying to force them to go home and accept a mandate that they don't have to accept themselves. And he's just said that, oh, a lot of the police agree with the protests, or in fact, I don't want people to say that I'm putting words in his mouth. Let's listen to specifically what he just said.
There's a lot of frustration with the fact that the cops have to be doing this job because a lot of the cops on the ground don't want to be here.
Well, that's what I mean. They don't want to be here, but they are. They're doing it. Oh, well. And you know what they're going to say, don't you? Wait for it. If I knew I was going to say this, I would have got like a drum roll soundboard, like a sound clip for a drum roll. I'm just following orders. Yay, I'm just following orders. It's that universal cop-out for law and order, isn't it? Or politicians, or just the state, the swamp, yeah? The elite. You know, well, I did this, did that, and the other, but you can't punish me because I was just following orders. If the truckers can risk their families' not literal existence, but financial existence, your comfort, their bank accounts have been frozen. If they can stand up for what's right, why can't you? I mean, I just find it absurd. Like he just said that some of them support them, or words to that effect. It's like one day you're my friend, shaking my hand, and then the next day, when you're ordered to bash me, you bash me. And then you say, oh, well, I don't want to be doing this, but I'm just following orders, donk. And then you expect me to respect you.
But they're not violent. They're actually very peaceful. So they're really upset. They're frustrated. They're sad that they're getting cleared out. But the violence, the sort of maximum violence here is maybe a couple sort of shoves between the protesters and the cops, and even that is very much on the margins.
Are you saying the cops don't even really want?
Yeah, that's the thing. If you look at the clips, a lot of them shoving at the most, but a lot of them are just standing there getting pounded and dragged around. And I've got a clip to show you after this. Wait until you see this.
To enforce this type of edict?
Well, that's the word on the ground, and that's what you see from interacting with the cops and seeing them here. They have to, because it's their job, and eventually...
They don't have to. You know, the concentration camp guards, do you know what their job was? To send people off into the you-know-what chambers. Right? So you're saying that they had to do it. That's what you're saying. You're saying that simply because something is somebody's job, they therefore must do it. Who said so? Why? Why is it okay for them, but not okay for the you-know-what guards, the concentration camp guards? I'm not saying it is right for them. Of course it's wrong. But what I'm saying is, you've got to have a standard. You can't just apply one thing to one group and then another thing to another group. It's the lack of standards that puts the West in such an absurd position. We're divided amongst ourselves because everyone gets treated differently. And the way they get treated will depend usually on things like immutable characteristics, privilege, and I mean genuine privilege. Right? Just look at them. And nobody knows what they're doing anymore.
Eventually, you do have to move people in. But you have seen throughout the protest movement, cops who's on the ground, their heart really isn't in it. And that's something that has provoked the outrage, frankly.
Yeah, that's cool. That's fine. So you say so. But take a 1940s Auschwitz concentration camp guard. Let's say, for example, one of them, their heart weren't in it. And you better believe, like Germany-wide during the Second World War, there were actually a lot of Germans that really didn't, particularly in the Wehrmacht, they really didn't like what they were doing. But they were just following orders. And I would ask him, if I was debating him now, I would ask him, how would you respond to them? Saying there was a survivor, I know it's getting like 1920s and 2020s, so people who actually fought in the Second World War mostly gone. But let's say if there's like a really old one, and how would you respond to him? If he said, yeah, I did this to that group, yeah, I did that, but I was just following orders. Yeah? Oh, but my heart wasn't really in it. We'll see how you respond to that one.
Of a lot of left-wing commentators and politicians who have seen videos and pictures of cops, giving people fist bumps on the ground and refusing to take their fuel and not doing arrests,
Yeah, that's great. Fantastic. That's the exception, right? You've got like one. But the majority is they're doing it, right? They're doing it,
The left and people like Trudeau want the cops to be much harsher on these guys, but the cops are working class blue collar guys too, and they realize, a lot of them at least, that these guys are fighting for them.
How absurd is that? Sorry, that's absurd. So the people who are blue collar, these cops who are blue collar, they realise they're fighting for them, but then they come along and bash them on the head and trample them under the horse. You're not making sense. If what you're saying is true, then what you are admitting in a backhand way is that those people that you're speaking of don't actually have any morals or a sense of honour, like an oath. I'm sure they swear an oath in Canada too when they serve. And they betrayed it all. That's essentially what you're saying. Oh, well, they're doing it anyway, even though they're blue collar. And if you think someone's fighting for you, why would you curtail them? Wouldn't that make them, by definition, an ally to you? Why would you fight your ally?
And they really don't want to have to take the authoritarian measures that Trudeau and some of the provincial governments are telling them to.
All right, Nate, good job out there, and stay warm.
I wouldn't say it's a particularly good job. I think the guy doesn't even know what he's talking about. I appreciate some of the things he said, but I mean, look, I suppose I'm probably being a bit hard on him. It's like being in. So as I said earlier, I suppose it's the same for conservative journalists and people who are not part of the message. In that you don't really know how to you feel awkward just for standing up for yourself. That's what it's like to be a conservative in the modern age. Because you know you've got the whole state, the media, and the whole lot infiltrating against you. Yeah. Okay, look, I want to show you something. Hold on to what this guy just said, because I want to show you something. So this is as they've gone in. So remember what the guy said before. They're working class. You know, these cops are just like us. You know, they don't really want to be doing this. It's all. Remember what he said. So this is one of the truckers or one of their supporters who's been dragged along here. Here's all of the camouflage wearing working class salt of the earth guys who are really on the truckers' side. Remember that. Watch how they treat this guy when they think no one's looking.
If that is indeed their livelihood. I think we're seeing another arrest there.
Yeah, I was just going to interject there and just say, yes, I want to...
Look at what he's doing. He's kneeing him as hard as he can.
Bring to our viewers' attention that we're watching live images right now of what is happening in Ottawa, and it appears that there is another arrest. As Rosemary also...
And remember, had that guy have been like, shall we say, George Floyd, you watch the left wail and stuff like that. But because he's a trucker, it's fine. You see what I'm saying? They've got no standards. So these are the guys who apparently don't want to be doing this. These are the guys who are apparently, they support you. They're your allies, yeah? But as soon as they're ordered to, the second they're ordered to, your best friends in the whole world who actually support what you're doing will just beat you on the head and knee you in the ribs. He's trying to hurt that guy.
Also mentioned, we're watching officers, law enforcement.
And look, none of these people actually care about what he's doing. None of them stop him. Look, he's looking to see if anyone's seen it. That's what they're doing. See that guy down there? He's looking to see, has anyone seen what we're doing? And him, look. Oh, I hope no one sees this.
Start moving in physically
with their trucks, if that isn't...
We'll mute it. It's just a report being played over it. So look, yeah. What? Right. So he's been dragged back. Look, he's getting ready to knee him. Look, he's getting ready to knee him. What value are you adding to the situation by doing that? Look, here he goes, look. Bang, straight down on top of him. Bang, again. And look, they're all looking to see if anyone noticed what they're doing. Oath breakers. All of them are oath breakers. They need... Yeah, well... I'll leave it there. Why do you get to do this? Why do you get to do this? When will you be held accountable? I'm in my late 30s, yeah. I hope that in my lifetime I see the people who believe they have the right to do this to you get punished. Whether they need jail time, but you know that's not going to happen. But they need to be punished, yeah. And I'm not inciting anything when I say that. I'm just saying that surely you agree that punishment should be meted out, legal punishment, to people who do things like that. I mean, look, you could see him bracing himself. Look, the guy is down here. Look, he's down there, and he's being dragged in between the two trucks. He is braced to knee him. Look, he's bracing himself so that he can get as much of a momentum into his knee as possible. Watch. Bang. There he goes. And look, nobody gives a damn. Instead, they just watch. They'll start. There you go. Look. They're looking around to make sure no one actually saw what they were doing. Disgusting. I'll leave it there. Let me know what you guys think about this in the comment section below. I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.